I'm just a time traveler in Georgia. This is my true life time traveler stories. Well, what I mean by true life is how I tricked 4 people into believing I'm a time traveler. I didn't even have to try very hard. So stay in school, kids. That way you won't be a sucker. But anyway, my first time traveler story takes place in Pensacola, Florida. I was at a bar called Hopjack's in downtown Pensacola. It's like a pizza restaurant bar. If you're in Pensacola, it's kind of a cool hangout. But there was a really drunk woman sitting right behind me, and she was just amazed by my hat. I was wearing this exact hat, the transistors and everything. And she's like, "You're a time traveler, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, hold on, let me transmit." And I bend over and I'm like, I'm transmitting, and then she freaks out and literally jumps away from me and jumps away from the bar, and she's like, "I'm not gonna get caught up in your time vortex." And like, she really thought I was a time traveler, and she was totally freaked out. Well, she was kind of drunk, so that's understandable. Well, the second story takes place in Georgia. Anyway, I was in Savannah, Georgia. I was helping my parents out, and I was helping out my grandmother. I was babysitting my grandmother during the day. My grandmother has Alzheimer's. Anyway, make a long story short, in the evenings I had free time to go out and explore downtown Savannah, which is awesome. It's almost like Savannah is almost like a time capsule in a lot of ways. There's a lot of old buildings from the 1700s. There's the original cobblestone road that's still intact and hasn't been paved over. So it's just got this very surreal feeling. You feel like you step back in time. And so I'm walking around wearing this hat. I wasn't wearing this jacket. This is this jacket's made by Pendragon, by the way. But anywho, this guy approached me and he's like, "You're a time traveler, just like Doctor Who." And I was like, yes, I am. And he was intent on believing that I was a time traveler. So I ran with it. I went with his fantasy, and I was like, okay, now I've convinced the second person I'm a time traveler. Okay, story number 3 and number 4. Now, driving back from Savannah to Pensacola, that's like an 8-hour drive, and my family stopped at a gas station just west of Tallahassee, and I got out of the car to get some snacks, get some drinks, and there was these 2 girls. They were very, very country, and any of you have been in Northwest Florida, you know that it has a lot more in common with Alabama than it does the rest of Florida. Anywho, I walk in there and I'm wearing this hat, and they're like literally staring at me wide-eyed. They were just like in shock. And they were like, "You're a time," with a very heavy southern accent, "You're a time traveler, aren't you?" I'm like, yes, I am. And to make it even more convincing, I had a prop Star Trek communicator. I pull out my Star Trek communicator that I used to carry around with me. It started getting banged up. I put it around here somewhere. I'll maybe one of the broadcasts or one of the videos on YouTube, I'll show it. But I pull out my communicator. It makes a humming noise and it lights up. And apparently these girls had never heard of or had never seen Star Trek. So it was totally convincing to them because I had this movie prop communicator making noise, making lights. I pull it out and I'm like, "Yeah, I can make a call to my ship." And they just like totally in awe. They didn't know what to say. So I leave the gas station, and as I'm leaving the gas station, my mother, who's in there, heard them say, "We need to follow him, find out where his time ship is." So there you go, people. Stay in school. You won't be such a sucker. But yeah, I convinced 4 people that I was a time traveler. I didn't even have to try very hard. Imagine if I had actually been trying to convince people I was a time traveler. I probably would have been successful in convincing a lot more people. Well, anyway, these are time traveler stories, and you have a nice day, and I will see you in 25 billion years.